Hey everybody, welcome to the RizoCast. It's me, Brian John Mitchell, once again, and we've got another raw key we're looking through for you. Peter Parker, The Spectacular Spider-Man, number 64. First appearance of Cloak and Dagger. This, of course, is Cloak. This is Dagger. This is Spider-Man. I kind of like this thing they're doing here on the front, making this all distorted. Makes it look like it's a horror issue. This is nowhere near Halloween, so I don't know. Maybe at once it was thought this would be a Halloween issue. It's hard to know with anything. It's kind of like a double splash page here for the intro Cloak. Very designy, very Frank Miller-esque. And then Dagger on this page. And then it's by Bill Mantlo, who I really realized relatively recently how much I liked him as a writer for Marvel when I was first getting into comics, which was right around this time. So he was probably writing Peter Parker, the Hulk, and Rom, maybe Micronauts also, as 4 monthlies at this point, something like that. He was doing a lot of lifting for Marvel in this era, and I don't know if him doing it this way is at Jim Shooter's mandate or if it's just natural, but he definitely has this Stan Lee-esque word pace that he's doing, like very purple prose, very and a lot of let's see, somewhere here is probably going to explain Spider-Man's power right here. Possessed of the proportionate strength and abilities of a spider, Spider-Man agilely arcs over the city on two impossibly slender strands of webbing. So there you go. It's following Jim Shooter's rule. Every comic's somebody's first comic. And we just got a basic synopsis of who Spider-Man is. It's easy, but it's not so over the top that it's annoying. So it jumps right in, and we're introduced to this guy. He's like, I want to turn myself in. I want to be arrested. I was doing all this stuff with manufacturing and selling illegal drugs. And then we're introduced to Cloak and Dagger, who are, Spider-Man is technically a vigilante, but these are real vigilantes. So it's interesting because some stuff about them seems to change over time, because I think at some point it's revealed that Dagger's only supposed to be 14 in this book, and Cloak is like 16, but I don't think it plays that they're that young in here. Also, in this, Cloak very much has a physical human body going here, and I always think of him as mainly being the Cloak and not so much having a human form left besides the head, but that might just be my take on it too, because I was a fan of Cloak and Dagger, but I haven't read any of their stuff besides this in decades and decades. Nothing special in these ads in this part right here. Let's see what happens next. I love how pure white they have her costume be in most of this. It's like, it would really pop if it was done the way a lot of the current Pittsburgh cartoonists are doing it, where they have the fake newsprint background for these borders, and then have that cleared out as true white of the fancy paper that comics are currently printed on. Would look awesome. So here we go. They're revealing their powers to us. This is their first appearance. So Spider-Man goes into Cloak's cape, and it's like Spider-Man's like, what's going on here? He's basically stuck in a different dimension, a pocket dimension. And then here's Dagger. She makes what we refer to as her light daggers, throws them at him, and essentially kills the dude. Spider-Man finds a way out of Cloak, and he's like, whoa, you guys killed him. And they're like, yes, that's what we came here to do. So over the top vigilante in this one. And it's like Spider-Man checks for a pulse. There isn't one. And he's like, what did you do to him? His blood is frozen in his veins. And Cloak's just straight up, he deserved no better, Dagger. His punishment fit his crime. It's a funny idea that these guys are significantly younger than Spider-Man, and he's the idealist and they're the fatalists. It's kind of interesting. And he's saying even criminals have rights, and they're just like, not in the eyes of Cloak and Dagger. He's trying to catch them, and it is not working out. She throws her things at him. They follow him. They're they're mystical, magical weapons, or whatever you want to say, with daggers, light daggers that she throws at him. And then Cloak they work together in tandem. They get Spider-Man back stuck into Cloak for a minute, and Dagger is able to hit him with a couple daggers, and they abandon him on the rooftop. And here we're showed that Cloak has teleportation abilities. They are a crazy powered duo. Police come up to find out what was going on. They find Spider-Man not in good standing, and he wanders off. The drawing, I really like the drawing in this. It's not amazing. It's very house style of the era or whatever, and it's meant to serve the story clearly. In this book, the words and the story are more important than the art, but it just all functions together really well. It's not, nobody's showing off, but it's great. And like I say, in this, normally Spider-Man is very bombastic, especially the issues of Amazing Spider-Man, but this feels more like Frank Miller Daredevil as far as how they're portraying New York City. Anyway, Spider-Man makes it back home. He's sick enough that he's taking the subway instead of just swinging home. And then he goes to his job at the Daily Bugle, trying to find out about the guy that died last night. And he's like, oh yeah, that guy was a pharmacist with a lot of illegal drugs. And Peter's like, what, amphetamines, tranquilizers, methadone? He's like, none of that. Then what? Okay. Back to the ads. So this is interesting here. This is a convention that's kind of doing a circuit. So they're appearing in Detroit December 12th and 13th, San Diego January 2nd and 3rd, San Francisco January 9th and 10th, Washington, D.C. January 30th and 31st, Philadelphia February 6th and 7th. And then they're also going to be coming to New York, Houston, and Columbus and Los Angeles. So it's kind of interesting, the idea that somebody was doing a convention series all over the country this early on, because this is I don't know, like, let's see what year this was. 1982. And somebody had the initiative to throw a bunch of conventions, which, I mean, people are trying to do that now, but it's not really a thing. Okay, here's something interesting. Issue Hulk 180, the introduction, it says intro of Wolverine, and it's $15. And 181, first Wolverine story, $35. And then 182, continuing a Wolverine cameo, $15. So obviously the price on that has gone up dramatically over that time. But it is interesting that, you know, there's some debate about 180 or 181 over the first appearance of Wolverine, and it's generally settled as 181. But it's interesting to me that it settled that early on. We also have Conan shown as such an important book to Marvel during this era, which is interesting to me because when I came in, it had already dropped off as a lower tier title. But first issue, $70. It's maybe $200 now. Interesting, issue 3 is $60, citing low distribution. I don't think that is accurate anymore. I think that issue is probably in the $50, probably $40, $30 range today. There's no scarcity over that issue compared to any of the others. Anyway, of course, the X-Men over here, let's see if they have a list price for giant size. At this time, giant size X-Men number 1 is only $70. Interesting to me, they have listed giant size X-Men number 2 having what I assume is Art Adams art. I've never heard anybody talk about that. So that might be something worth looking into at some point. But at this point, the X-Men really is the hot book. Let's see if Daredevil is, they have it listed, but it's not like it's one of the big books, I don't think. But it's interesting. Like, they have the Star Wars listed. It's interesting. So these are all Marvel books, which makes sense. You're advertising Marvel books in a Marvel book. But you have a lot of books listed here. You have Conan, you have another Conan, you have Micronauts, you have ROM, you have Star Wars, you have Raiders of the Lost Ark. All of those are licensed properties instead of Marvel proper. So you have to think that those licensed books were really important to them at that time. It's kind of interesting. Anyway, back to the story. So what kind of drugs was this guy making? Stuff you and I have never heard of. Drugs so new they aren't in the latest medical journals. He's a noted chemist for the mob. And so they're trying to find out all this stuff, what happened. And he was based on Ellis Island, and they would take runaways and stuff and test the drugs on the runaways. Only they ended up killing them all. The drug was too strong. But this is cool. He makes his spiderweb glider, and he explains that that's what he did. So they're going to Ellis Island, where the guy had his lab and he killed all the kids. And the way they're drawing these ghosts, so these aren't ghosts like they're actual specters. They're just like he's thinking to himself about all the people that came through Ellis Island. But the way it's drawn with the Venetian blind thing going here is really cool. Be interesting seeing the original to know what he's doing here. Is it just do the drawing and take a razor blade to make the white spots? Is it using whiteout or whatever to make the white lines afterwards? Could go either way. Once again, this is another thing where it's like this is somebody's first Spider-Man comic. They're showing you about like how he has to switch the web fluid out in his web shooters. And here we are, Cloak and Dagger are here. They've captured some of the other mobsters that are responsible for the drugs and all the people dying. And this guy's like begging for his life or whatever, and he's like, forget about it. These were two of the kids that were here. And he's like, they can't be, all the kids are dead. And he's like, they already killed Marshall, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, we didn't think any of them would remain alive. And Cloak says, Dagger and I survived. They're just begging to be let go. There was a time when we pleaded to be let go, to be allowed to return to our families, our homes. What was your answer? And then, they didn't let him go. They're convinced this drug's gonna make them rich, but it's just too whatever, and somehow they survived it. And I'm not, let's see, we were alive because something in our body chemistry made us different from the others, and Simon Marshall's drug interacted with that difference to turn us into Cloak and Dagger. So I think this is one of the tropes or whatever of how mutants work in Marvel Comics. The kids are teenagers that are a little bit, have something going on with them, and then there's an event that triggers their powers to suddenly happen. But to be honest, this origin leaves something to be desired, as far as why do they have these complementary powers if they're two random strangers, and it's doesn't have to do with the drug or whatever, but anyway. And Spider-Man's been listening into this whole thing. He says, "Why didn't you tell me? Instead of fighting you, I would have helped you bring these vermin to justice." And he's like, "I understand why you killed that guy, and so will the DA, and we can bring justice." And they're like, "We don't want justice, we want vengeance." And so here we are with a fight ensuing. This guy's threatening to kill Dagger so that they'll be let go. Storming off. And they go running, and they run inside of Cloak. And then Cloak probably makes it so that he releases them, with them running out of a window to fall to their death. And then they're like, and Spider-Man's like, "We're 5 stories up. There's no way anyone could survive a fall from that height." And he says, "They sought the light. I let them find it. What you call justice has been done, Spider-Man, yet no one lives to tell the tale except you. So what happens now? Nothing. Our work is over for now." Cloak envelops Dagger within his cape, and they vanish. For many moments, Spider-Man stares into the darkness. He is confused, puzzled, and more than a little frightened. Tonight, he will sleep with the lights on. So that's it. That's the introduction of Cloak and Dagger. A fan favorite team. I think they come back like 2 issues after this already. And then pretty shortly thereafter, they get a 4-issue limited series. Then they get a ongoing series that lasts for maybe a year. Then they are spliced in together that they have a series where they have half an issue and Doctor Strange has half the issue. That's called Strange Tales. And after that, my following of Marvel declined, so I'm not sure exactly where they're at after that. Not really sure if there's anything that interesting here in the bullpen bulletins. Archie Goodwin is working on Epic Illustrated issue 16. I think they're about to launch Epic in a more serious way. Looks like it's not listing that they have Dreadstar yet. So I think Epic is about to launch, or they wouldn't be making a big deal about it right here. So they're going to be having Gru and Dreadstar and Elektra Assassin all launching in pretty short order, probably those are all being worked on, and this is just a tease to what's going on here. I love these ads. The Hostess Fruit Pie ad, Captain America and Nick Fury, and then they get the monsters to stop fighting Captain America by giving them fruit pies. It's totally ridiculous. I think at some point someone put out a comic that just collected the 30 or so ads of this, which would be a fun one. Guess the amount of pages was odd, so we got a pin-up. Let's see. Let's see if there's anything interesting here in the letters page. I didn't really read the letters page, so every once in a while you'll look at the letters page and there will be a letter from someone who went on to become a writer or artist in the industry, but I don't see anybody like that on this one. As for car models, forget that was a big thing. I guess maybe to somebody it still is. And here's an ad for Dungeons and Dragons. It was a big thing in the 1980s for sure. In Lake Geneva, Wisconsin in the U.S., or if you're in the U.K., you can write them here in Cambridge, England. Anyway, thanks for hanging out, looking at this raw key with me. I'm sure you like it because it's good. And all right, we'll catch up with you again soon.